Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 7. This is for episode 10, which is called New Best Friends. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch my review. So, awesome episode, dudes. This was, so far, the best we've had this half. I think this was easily better than the premiere. Even though we had some really cool stuff in episode 9, the second half premiere, I mean. Because you had Rick on the highway, that and Michonne, and them cutting down all the zombies, which was really cool. But this one was maybe one of the coolest one-on-one zombie fights we've ever seen, as Rick fights the Demogorgon, or Winston. That was really funny. This new group, the Junkyard group, is just so... I like them, man. I really like this group. So this is a new add-in. This group is not in the Walking Dead comic book series ever. And really, there's nothing even like them in the Walking Dead comic book series. There's no equivalent. There's nothing. I mean, this is a totally new group for the TV series. And I was really impressed by them. I thought they were a lot of fun. Some of it was, a lot of it was where we were at with predictions. I did the predictions video last Sunday, and I'll do another one after this video tonight for what I think is going to happen in next week's episode. But we were pretty much spot on this week. Rick, of course, tries to win over this new group. He has to gain their respect, and so as we assumed, he would fight the Demogorgon in the Upside Down, or the Up in this one. Somebody like Stranger Things. So, it was fun. So I liked the fight sequence between Winston and Rick, and it was one of the highlights of the episode, but actually it wasn't the highlight of the episode for me. The highlight of this episode for me has to be when we see Daryl and Carol reunited, and I kind of knew they were going to do it when you heard the knock at the door. From her perspective, kind of seemed like maybe Ezekiel and the others kind of came back or something, like they forgot something, and then you see Daryl, who's kind of just shows up there. So that was a really touching moment, and one that I've been waiting for a really long time for. At this time, after seeing this episode especially, I kind of realized what's missing from the first half, and a lot of that is Daryl related. Throughout the whole series we have Daryl, and he's such a great character. He's so fun to see and so fun to watch. He's got a few episodes here and there that maybe aren't the best, like Still. But, it's nice to see Daryl get the crossbow back. I love the intro in this episode when just even, the angle and everything as you see him kind of like lock up in the sights to where they roll the intro credits. Just fantastic, man. Really love everything they did in this episode. So really great episode for Daryl fans, that's for sure, and Carol. And really surprising to me, it was kind of a twist because I expected Daryl to break the news to Carol. I did not expect to see him lie, but in this one he does. He tells her, the fairy tale. Everything's okay, everything's all right, which is the way things go in most shows. And that's actually why I like The Walking Dead so much, because The Walking Dead is more honest than that. It doesn't lie to its viewers or readers that if you're going to go into a war, everybody's going to be all right. Pretty much no matter what happens, there's always going to be casualties. There's always going to be, deaths on each side of a war. Even if it's almost completely one-sided, you're pretty much never going to have a flawless victory, if you want to Mortal Kombat terms, and, totally defeat the enemy without getting any, getting your hands dirty yourself and having people die on your side. So that was surprising, and I also like the dialogue between Daryl and Morgan that Morgan kind of says we're the same because you didn't tell her either, did you? Otherwise she would be here. So really, really good stuff. I also like the intro sequence. Let's start out from the beginning. We'll go over each scene. So we got the Kingdom meetup. You've got Diane, who shoots a girl in a dress that reminds her of her sister. Is it her sister? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. She loved that dress type of deal. Don't think about it. So I'm not sure if that's what they were alluding to, or if it was just kind of a clever piece of dialogue to put in there to kind of just show how everything is just breaking around them and everything. You've got kind of a breakout, maybe additional fight between Richard and what's this guy's name? I wrote it down, but I forget. You've got, what is it? Gary, Visceral, Jared or something. So anyway, it doesn't really matter because he'll probably be killed off this half anyway pretty soon. But we got him and Richard that pull guns on each other, right? And you've got kind of all hell breaking loose. And he takes Morgan's staff. And I'm like, what the? You did not take Morgan's staff, dude. That is not cool at all. Don't you know he was trained by a Ninja Turtle? So I was not happy about that. I was like, oh man, this guy's got to get it. He's so asking for it. So then he gets back and he talks to Daryl. And again, it's like, yeah, Daryl, I forgot. Daryl's awesome. It's awesome to see Daryl. Even if he's just staring you into submission or whatever, as Rick was saying, right? If Carol knew, she would, that's why she left. So then we got the Daryl crossbow shot roll intro. So really cool. You've got the scene where Richard and Daryl kind of go out. And it's a nice kind of twist. You're going down this path. You think that they're going to, jump the Saviors, and then it's going to cause this whole thing. And then it's going to come back, and Richard's going to set up Carol as the fall guy for it all. So Richard's going to set up Carol, and because he doesn't really care. And I also like the kind of say her name type of thing, because of course the name thing is big right now. We even saw it in the who are you, Daryl, Negan, right? So that was cool. Say her name. I like that. And he finally says that it's Carol, and he realizes that Daryl and Carol must know each other. And I like how Daryl threatens him and pretty much tells him, if anything happens to her, I don't care what the explanation is, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to come after you. So just a really, really solid intro for sure. So then we switch to the junkyard people, where you see them all come in, and I was kind of counting. I was kind of getting a ballpark, I think. I counted somewhere around 60, 70, somewhere between 50 to 80. So I'm thinking they have around 65, 70 people. I'm going to watch it again, and I'll go through and maybe count them out, just so I know for the videos for the Q&A this week, guys, for you. But it should be somewhere around 70 people. So with the junkyard group, Rick's group, the few we have from the hilltop, and the kingdom, if all of them are to join together, they will actually outnumber the Saviors. So they will have more fighters than the Saviors do. And the junkyard people look pretty nasty. They look like they're pretty tough customers, and the stuff that they're into. They also, their leader, who like what is up with her? Is she autistic or what? I don't know, but she kind of like when she's talking and stuff. I like their gimmick a lot. I really, really like their gimmick. Every bad guy's got to have a good gimmick, right? Negan, he's got right there. He's got Lucille. He's got the bat. He's got the jacket. He looks like Fonzie. That kind of thing. He swears a lot. He's really funny. That's Negan's gimmick, right? The governor's got his own gimmick, and there is a Shane. All the good villains have their own gimmick. So I really like the gimmick that this junkyard group has. It's really fun. And Jadance, right? And we do have a character named Brian, who's part of the group here, who I thought they would change his name because they announced last summer that they were casting someone as this Brian character. So listening to Jadance speak kind of gives me a headache, because I expect her to. It's breaking human protocol. This always pisses me off when people do this, because I talk to people all the time, and they constantly do this. They break protocol. They say something, and then they say something else when you don't expect them to say something. So they'll say one word, and then they'll say something else. And then they'll say something else again, where it's like, okay, were you pausing to wait for Rick to respond, or what are you doing? So she's not a strong speaker. Let's just put it that way. So she's really fun, man. I really like Up, right? So you've got Rick. So we own your lives. Do you want to buy them back? The way she says it is irritating to me. A lot of the things she says gets me started with a headache, right? If I have to keep listening to this, I'm gonna get a headache. So we got Gabriel, and we do find out that again what we thought last week, and did the videos last weekend about the other person being in the car and that. And thankfully, we get some exposition from Gabriel that he explains that, yes, in fact, our theory, so to speak, or what happened was correct. He didn't leave of his own accord. He went in, he got jumped when we heard the crash and all that kind of thing. And, they pretty much forced him to take everything, and, they left the notes. So that was cool to see, just to get that kind of confirmation. So we're not worrying, the whole half about where's Gabriel. It's not a Heath situation where he's gone missing and he's not coming back. So we see Gabriel, and that was cool. And he's pretty badass in the scene. Like he gets on, what is her name? Tamia, something like, Tamia, I think. He's got the knife to her. So that was pretty cool that he jumps into action. And he's a pretty badass priest, man. I mean, or pastor. He's a pretty badass one for sure. So I like that. And we go to the up, and up. And see, again, headaches, right? We don't bother. We change, maybe worth it. Oh my God, I'm getting a headache already just by looking at these. Now it's like, English, bitch, do you speak it? Come on. We see an awesome fight sequence between Rick and the Demogorgon. I really like the way they do this one. So he falls down in the pit. Kind of reminds me of something out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. You got Shredder. He's got the ooze and stuff. I'm a big TMNT fan, old school, right? Babies, they're babies. So you got the TCRI, you got the junkyard around, and then he turns Token Razor into makeshift movie Bebop and Rocksteady, right? So it's fun stuff. stuff. So you got that. Rick fights off the Demogorgon. That was pretty cool when Winston, when he's got the the hand, because he kind of which hand was I forget, but he puts his hand on it and it like goes all the spikes and everything, and they had like knives on there and different stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then Rick figures out what he has to do to defeat the Demogorgon. It's just like a video game, right? Use the ball, Rick, right? And okay. And then he runs, and then all the stuff falls on the Demogorgon, and he finds something, and he stabs it in, and he kills it. So there was a pretty intense fight sequence. I really liked how they're looking through the thing, and you can see the back, and the thing is like, rah, it's coming after him, and his back is like huge. He's got like traps and shit, and he's all like super zombie with his traps and shit. Looks like Brock Lesnar or something coming at you. It's pretty sweet. Can you tell I'm excited? I did like this episode a lot. So, so he got that, and he beats him. So he finally beats the Demogorgon, talks him into joining up, and after a whole bunch of more broken speech and not sure what she's saying, but she's saying something, they say yes, and they decide on, okay, 50-50, guns, whatever else. Pretty much it sounds like they're going to have to split it 50-50 with the Junkyard Group. But the Junkyard Group, as kind of weird as they are and everything, and how strange they speak and everything, I don't know what their deal is. Maybe they're just they're not very social because they're not around people much, living in a junkyard, that kind of thing. Except actually a lot of people would bring their junk in. You think if you owned a junkyard or something, there'd be people coming all the time bringing in stuff. So you should be at least a little bit nice. So we switch over. So that was all awesome. I loved everything they did with that. We got the line with Tara. She gets mad at Rosita. Rick starts to question Tara about her going out on runs and looking for stuff, and if she saw anything. And Tara, it's kind of like getting started, so I'm expecting, we'll talk about this more in the predictions video, next week or the week after, Tara's going to have to break the news to Rick about the ocean side. So he's probably going to be pissed off, but he's going to be like, okay, well, at least you told us. They have lots of weapons. We saw the locker. They zoomed in on the TV series for a reason, and we're going to get some guns, and then we're going to have the, everybody join up together, and it's going to be wicked, all at war at the end of the season. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So that was good. Rosita's pissed off. She wants to keep fighting. Aaron also doesn't want Eric to see him like this, so it makes sense. And then the rest are just like, okay, we got to go back and get, everything together. We don't have too much time, and we got to start working on finding some ammunition, some guns. So we'll see. Then we have the sequence. So there's all that. All that was awesome. Loved it very much. Carol and Daryl stuff, which was great. Really cool. Do I have to be a king to get something to eat around here? That was kind of cool. I like that. And I also like the scene where Daryl's like sitting and looking at the Shiva in the cage, and it's like two animals looking at each other because Daryl's like so animalistic now. And he pets him and that kind of stuff. And it's pretty awesome. So, or her pets Shiva because she was a girl. Pets her a little bit. And that was fun. CG didn't look that great again, but whatever. It was the legs looked too short to me. The tiger's legs. Oh well, it's okay. Whatever. Conversation between Morgan and Daryl, and then Daryl leaves, and in the thing we'll find him. So Negan's going to be on the look for Daryl. The keywords for this week for the Dead Sweepstakes are weapon. What is it? Oh, you know what? Did I erase it? Weapons. Hunt, weapons hunt, I think. So that's cool if any of you guys want into the Dead Sweepstakes or whatever. Been a chance to be in episode 100, so that's pretty cool. Season 8 premiere. So all in all, in terms of the episode, I'm going to give it 9.6 out of 10. Awesome episode. Liked it even more than episode 9. It was fantastic. Really liked the super zombie. That was something really clever we've never seen before. Really liked the gimmick of Junkyard People. Really cool. And, like the score in this one. That was really good, too. The music all throughout. They had some 80s kind of, reminded me of 80s anyway with, we're getting to see the Junkyard People and everything. Just the tune and that kind of stuff. That was like kind of weird and kind of ominous and old school zombie-esque was really cool. So like the score and some big things happening in this episode. Junkyard Group joining up. Daryl and Carol being reunited again. Daryl getting his crossbow back, which is sweet. Getting ready for everything going on. And Richard, not sure what Richard's going to do now. Daryl kind of messed him up a little bit, and it was cool to see. We wondered for a while who it was in the preview, in the trailer, that Daryl was ground and pounding. It ends up being Richard in a pretty intense sequence. So things are starting to boil to a point. What are the Kingdom going to do? What's everybody going to do? Oh, man, I can't wait to see. This episode went by fast for me. Like, when it was done, I was like, what? That's it? It's done? And I looked at the time. I'm like, oh, it was extended too. What the hell? So, awesome episode. Really loved it. And, of course, write your comments below, guys. Let me know if you were as enthused about it after seeing it as I was. There was so much awesome. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again later tonight. So I'll be back in about half an hour to an hour with the video predictions for what I think is going to happen in episode 3 for this half, which is episode 11. So check back for that in about an hour, guys. But definitely write a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Some really clever stuff in this one. Really great. You enjoyed it a lot. And, something new. We've never really seen some kind of imaginative super zombie like that. It was really cool. Junkyard people were sweet. If you guys like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe, click the subscribe button at the bottom left and click the bell to turn on notifications so you get my videos every day. That's it for this video, guys. See you again soon for another predictions. It's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.